So let's come on to the public policy side of it then. As I say, I don't want to be perceived as having a prurient interest in invading anyone's privacy, but in Ireland, 96% of our primary schools are run by the Catholic Church and therefore managed by whoever the local priest is. So, in quite a real sense, these aren't just priests in training, these are school managers in training. So, I have four kids, Richard. My eldest is 12. And just last week, we got a note home from school that she'll be starting their sex ed program, and that includes the indication that sex ed will be carried out according to the Catholic ethos as defined by their manager, who's the local parish priest. So if this is the environment in which our school managers who manage the sex education of our kids are being educated, do you think there's a genuine public interest in that? If they were your kids, Richard, would that be something that would interest or concern you?
Concern is the right word.
Okay.
Concern is the right word. I served on the American Medical Association's commission that developed the book on human sexuality.
Okay.
And I'm sorry.
Not at all. You're a man of demand.
But the point is that it was very hard for us, and we had some of the top names in sex education in the United States. Mary Calderon, Eric Leaf, Father, the famous Jesuit priest. I'm sorry, his name slips me now.
There are a lot of famous Jesuit priests.
We're very quick to tell you so. And the point is that even among what we were talking about was getting education to the physicians. And what the conclusion was, we don't have and didn't have enough people to educate the physicians, to educate educators. Mm-hmm. And the same is true in the church. No, parents should be very concerned about sex education from the church. There should be supervised by lay people. There should be not dominated by the clergy. The clergy do not know the reality of sexuality. The clergy are too enmeshed in this secret system of sexual activity and sexual forgiveness and so on. Look, there are many good priests. I'm not saying that. Priesthood is difficult and celibacy is difficult. I know, I practiced celibacy for 20 years. I've written 8 books on celibacy and tried to teach in the seminary how to be celibate. I taught in 3 major seminaries, a Jesuit, a pontifical one, and a Benedictine one. And celibacy and sexuality are the hardest things to teach because the moral teaching of the church is not founded and does not jibe with scientific reality. And therefore, you have this mixed match where priests don't believe the church's teaching on sexuality. I mean, how many people now believe that masturbation is a mortal sin that will send you to hell? Now, that was the teaching when I grew up, and in some places, it's still the teaching. And in some places, excuse me, they still maintain along the lines that masturbation is a worse sin than rape, because rape at least adheres to God's plan of a man and a woman.
Wow.
Now, look, this is written in the Catholic manuals and the whole thing. Who of us believes that if our sons and daughters are preparing for marriage and that they have some sexual experimentation that is responsible and so on, that they're going to go to hell? But the point is, you can't teach one thing and do another.
Mm-hmm.
And because the priests themselves, many of them, they cannot adhere to the church's teaching, but then they have to spout it, that you run into a whole hypocritical system. And hypocrisy, after all, is one of the worst religious violations. You know, I mean, Jesus Christ, Christianity is based on truth. And when hypocrisy comes in, religion really goes out.
Mm-hmm.